Well, that last video cut off. My phone says that I have no memory left. I've deleted every video off of my phone, and it should be full, but it's not showing that I've got much time. So this may cut off like the last one did. So I'm going to talk as fast as I can and hope I get what I need to say on here. What I was telling y'all the last time was that the Lord had shown me the sevenfold spirits. If you notice, when it says that the four living creatures cry out that are before the thrones of God, they say, "Holy, holy, holy." And then the 24 elders, they throw down and they cast their crowns. It never says that the seven lamps fall down before God. And the reason, I've heard some people say that the sevenfold spirit are the seven angels. That's not true, because angels would fall down and worship before God. But the sevenfold spirit does not, and that is because the sevenfold spirit is part of the individual parts of the Holy Spirit. So they don't fall down and worship themselves. So it's not angels. It is the Holy Spirit himself. And I felt that the Lord wanted me to tell you all that. Then the other thing I wanted to say was that I posted a video of a man on my Facebook page that said that he was looking at some grass, blades of grass, and the spirit of wisdom walked up behind him and said, "Do you want me to tell you what God's wisdom is in that blade of grass?" That's relational. I watched, because I had looked up a video of the sevenfold spirits. YouTube started giving me every video of the sevenfold spirits, and I listened to one after the other. And they were saying, like I said just a second ago, that the angels were the sevenfold spirit, and some of them said the spirit of justice and the spirit of holiness, and just making it up, because the sevenfold spirits is listed. It's listed in Isaiah. It's listed in Proverbs. There's no question what the sevenfold spirit is, because it's listed. But folks get crazy ideas. Like I said, they want it to fit in a set of rules, and they're not looking at it relationally. There was one video that was talking about the four living creatures and Isaiah's vision, and it said the wheel in the wheel was an angel. And I told you about that PhD professor that said the wheel in the wheel was a chariot wheel, and that them angels was riding in chariots. The Bible doesn't say that. And this other video said that the wheel in the wheel was an angel itself, that the wheel was an angel. The Bible doesn't say that. People start trying, like I talked about in the previous video, about how people try to fit spiritual things in their mind, and God never intended for spiritual things to be discerned mentally. The soul is different, completely different than the spirit. We are a spirit. We have a soul, and we live in a body. And so people have made videos, dozens of them that I've seen, where they're talking about the sevenfold spirit, but it's not relationally. They are reading the glossary. They are trying to make the sevenfold spirit fit in the nomenclature. They do not know them personally. And I hope, if you don't take anything else away from what we've talked about, I hope you understand that I'm talking about the spirit of wisdom because God introduced me to her. Now, I was talking about the spirit of the fear of the Lord because God introduced me to him. That what I was telling you was from a relationship, not because I could look up the word in Greek and think I knew mentally what it was. It's not what I did. God showed me, not a dictionary. So I said that to say that the other thing that the Lord showed me was one night I was in bed and I was sick. I was sick as a dog. I couldn't breathe, and so I couldn't sleep because I kept waking up because I couldn't get my breath. And as I was laying there, I was praying or trying to pray unsuccessfully. And all of a sudden, I saw everything was completely black. And I saw a light above me. And I started going toward that light. And it was like I was floating up into space. And the light was shining out like a headlight shining in the darkness, but it was shining away from me. It wasn't shining towards me. And I went up towards it. And when I got there, it was an oval hole that light was shining through, and I stepped through it. And when I did, I was on top of a mountain, and it was flat on top. And I looked over, it was beautiful, vivid colors, green grass. There was like limestone rocks visible, and they were real pretty and white. And what appeared to be on this plateau, this top of this mountain that I was on, it looked like the sun was setting. I could look over and see west, and that was the light that was coming through that hole, perpendicular to me, as I was floating up towards it. And just as I got there, up on top of that plateau, there was a raised part where I came out through the oval hole, and there was a guy standing there, and he had a staff, and I just felt like, he looked like Charlton Heston from the Ten Commandments, maybe. And he didn't say his name. I didn't ask him. And I went up and I started talking to him, and he turned around and he pointed. And the middle part of the plateau had a lower part in it, and there was thick green grass, beautiful, just lush grass. And there was sheep. I could see sheep down there in the low part, grazing on that grass. And he said, "You need to talk to him," and pointed down there, down that little gully where those sheep were. Well, I didn't see anybody. I saw some sheep, but I didn't see anybody. And I headed over there. And when I walked down in there where those sheep were, there was a guy sitting up in the rocks. He was a young guy, and he was dark complected, and he was up in there on the rocks watching the sheep. So I went over there to him because I thought because the first guy said, "Go talk to him," and he's the only person I saw was all other than the sheep. So I walked up thinking I was supposed to talk to him, and I started talking to him, and he pointed and said, "You need to talk to him," and pointed to the other side of that low place, had another elevated area up on it. Well, I started walking over there, and like I said, I thought it was the sun setting in the west. It just radiant, beautiful the clearest sky you've ever seen, and the rays of the sun were just brilliant, shining out from there. And as I walked towards that, looking for whoever this other guy was that both these fellas had told me, pointed towards and told me to talk to him, I was looking around trying to figure out who else was up there. And I realized that light was Jesus. It wasn't the sun setting. It was Jesus sitting on a throne. And there was a space between that plateau and the platform that the throne was on. And so I stepped over there onto that platform, and I just fell at Jesus' feet. And I said, "What do you need me to do?" And he said, "Empty yourself of you so I can fill you with me." Empty yourself of you so I can fill you with me. And I've been trying to do that ever since. And I don't feel like I have been successful at trying to show the Lord like I should or like he wanted me to. But I felt like I was supposed to tell y'all that